Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make is actually a coffee cake, or a coffee bread if you prefer to call it that. And you can put whatever type of filling that you want. You need about 14 ounces, but you want 14 ounces of sweet fruit. You can use cherries or apples or peaches, whatever you want. And in fact, if you're looking for a recipe to make a fruit filling, I have several on my channel. If you don't, then just go ahead and buy a can, a 14-ounce can of sweetened fruit, okay? So I made the recipe, the dough itself, in my bread machine, bread maker on the dough cycle. You of course can make it the dough by hand if you prefer, but I'm going to start off by giving you the recipe for the dough. Okay, you're going to start off, you're going to need 5 1/4 cups of bread flour. Now if you don't want to use bread flour, you can go ahead and use all-purpose, but I particularly always made this recipe with bread flour. You're going to be needing 2 1/4 teaspoons of your active dry yeast for this, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 2 cups of milk, and you'll want to have that at lukewarm temperature, 3 eggs, which I beat in a bowl, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, okay? And you're also going to be putting in a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil also, okay, in that recipe. Now the recipe itself will be below the video, so it'll all be written out for you, that type of thing. All right, well, I want to show you what the dough looks like once it comes out of the maker on the dough cycle. I'm just going to sprinkle some flour. Now I get 2 of these when I make this recipe. I actually get 2 of these, so I cut them in half. This is just 1, okay? I put the 1 in the bucket and put a towel on it so it did rise again for me. But again, you'll get 2 this size, okay? Then just take the air out of it here. You don't want to put a lot of flour. And then just roll it out to a rectangle. And the rectangle, oh, probably, 12 by 14. If you can make it a little bigger, go ahead. And I'm just trying to stretch it out right now, okay, to get that rectangle. Now this dough is going to be quite sticky for you, so that's the only thing about it. To work with it, you will have to, use flour, because when it first comes out of your maker on the dough cycle, it's going to be very sticky, almost like a wet dough, okay? All right, this looks like about right. Okay. Now, then take your filling and just start putting it all over your dough. Leave the edges at least, well, about 1 inch or so. I always have a little bit left over, maybe a tablespoon or so. So I'll just spread this out as evenly as I can. Without getting too close to the edge. Okay. This is a relatively quick and easy recipe. This can taste, oh, so good when it's still warm out of the oven. You can eat it cold, serve it with a cup of coffee, at breakfast. that type of thing. Okay. All right, so that looks pretty good. All right. And now we're just going to roll it up. All right. And I'm going to start on the long end. And just pinch it and roll it. Now, when I get towards the end, that's where sometimes I am taking out that tablespoon or so of the filling, okay? Because it looks like it's just going to be a little too much. So this is when I take a little of that out, okay? And then I just keep rolling it. And then you do have to bring it over, and you're going to have to seal it by pinching it. Pinching and rolling it with your fingers. And then on the edges or the ends, I just fold it like a package and then pinch it and bring it in. Nothing fancy. If you have a, a much easier way of doing it or a better way, well, feel free. But I do it just like a package. Okay. Now I'm going to put a little bit of flour again on my countertop and roll this over. Make sure that my ends are squared off. Okay. Now I go ahead and I heavily grease a bread pan like this. You could use whatever type of pan that you prefer, but this is a Wilton bread pan. Okay. I'll put the dimensions underneath the video for you. Okay. Now the next thing is we want to cut it. Okay. And you can actually do it probably easier in the pan, but you won't be able to see it, so I'm going to attempt this cutting it and lifting it now. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to cut into it like that. I'm not going quite half with my scissors, okay? What will happen is once I put this in the pan, I'm going to cover it with a towel, or you can put a piece of saran wrap, and I'm going to wait till it doubles in size. Now when it bakes, these cuts are going to be a lot bigger. If you feel that they need a little bit larger, then just go ahead and put another little snip and make it bigger, okay? And now I'm going to put this in the pan. Like I said, I find it easier to cut it in the pan, so we're gonna give this a go here. Okay. And then I like to stretch it out to the length of my pan. Okay. All right. All right, and it'll look like that. I hope you can see it. And then I'll actually put a towel over that and wait till it doubles in size. And that takes usually, well, about an hour, depending on the temperature of your kitchen. And let me rinse my hands real quick here. And I want to show you what it does look like once it is baked up. Okay. And this is how it's going to come out. It makes just a beautiful loaf. As you can see how nice and high and tall this comes out. Okay. You can see all that pretty filling inside of it. Okay. What I want to tell you too is I glazed it with just powdered sugar and milk. You can use water if you don't want to use milk. And make it to a consistency of how thick or thin you want it. If you don't want to do that, this is excellent by just sprinkling powdered sugar over the top. So either way, it just comes out so delicious. And it's just a beautiful coffee cake or coffee bread, whatever you prefer to call it. Let's cut into it. Let me grab a knife. Okay, and let's give it a slice here. I want to show you more the center of it. It's a little bit warm yet, but you can see the beautiful fruit inside of it. It makes for an extremely light and moist crumb to it. It's not real dense or real heavy. As I mentioned earlier, it is so good warm out of the oven or cool, however you prefer it. It's a relatively easy, quick recipe to make in your bread maker on the dough cycle. So there you have it. I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake. Please subscribe to my channel, and I also want to remind you that all my videos are only on YouTube, so that's where you're going to find my channel, Diane Lovetobake. If you try this recipe and you like it, well, leave a comment, because I always like to hear from you. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.